Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about Shen vs Tank's Advanced Matchup. You'll learn how to play against all these matchups down below. So, let's get into it. The first one is going to be Shen vs Zac. It's a pretty interesting matchup. Haven't really seen it that much because Zac just started becoming top lane lately after the Sunfire buff and Balmy Cinder buff. Let's get into it. Runes to run. You want to have Grasp, Shield Bash, Bone Plating, because you're doing a lot of trades where you utilize the entirety of Bone Plating, Overgrowth, and then second, you want to have Killing Runes, so you want to go Triumph and Coup de Grace, or Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter, depending on what you choose. Now, let's get into the matchup. So, with Shen vs Zac, you have a lane that you want to kill. You want to kill Zac, it's really important because you're stronger than him. So, your preferred thing is to actually have your jungler start on the bot side, because you want it in for a kill. Now, that's not always possible, and also Shen is a great champion to help out with, a little one, so a lot of junglers will tend to start top side. Alright, let's get into the lane. So, here we have Shen vs Zac. The thing is, right now, he's pushing me, so I can't really do much. So I'm just allowing him to push me in. I'm going to keep the wave close to my turret. And then I'm going to trade with him every single time I grasp this up, because I'm actually stronger than him. One thing to note in this matchup is, Zac is not running Grasp. I'm running Grasp. He's running Conqueror, which means you want to proc your Grasp as often as possible. He wants to proc a long fights with Conqueror, so he gets 10 stacks and he can heal up and he can do a lot of damage. So you want short fights, he wants long fights. Now, the thing to note here is you're a lot stronger than him. You want to keep the thing close to your tower, the wave. I mean, it's my turn that's sad. I lost the trade because of that. Also, a small thing to note is you actually want to try to take up all the Zac flops so he doesn't get the healing. You're slowly just dominating the guy. There's not much you can do. And you become a much stronger champion. But that is only until level 6. Now, when ganking Zac, there's something really important to note here. What you actually want to do is you just want to walk up to him. And when you want to start hitting him, the second he starts channeling his jump away, you taunt him or you CC him. Now, both me and Jarman didn't know this. We're both challenge players. We fucked this one up. Happens. No challenge players not perfect. You know, we all dumb a little bit. But yeah, we made a mistake. I taunted him instantly, so I could do a lot of damage. He jumped him instantly, so he can do a lot of damage. Zac charges his E up, and he just gets away scot-free. So when you're ganking a Zac, try to hold on to your CC and just start walking up and doing that damage. If you had done that, we would probably burnt the Zac's abilities, maybe his flash, or we would have killed him. Mistakes on our part, 100% should have done that better. Remember that when you're ganking a Zac. Now, here we're having a situation where I push Zac into his turret. He can't really do much against me right now. I'm super strong. One thing to note is, at this point, you don't have anything to do in the map. So you need to figure out, what the hell am I doing right now? You can base. You have 900 gold. It's decent buy. It's not terrible. You can look mid. Should you gank mid? Maybe it's possible. It's Sion. As a Shen, you generally want to tend to try and get your team ahead. Ganking mid would be great here. Ganking bot is not possible because you're not level 6 yet. The only way to do that is if you bot lane deep wards and then you TP gank, which you're not looking to do necessarily unless it's a really good situation here. So I opted in to go for the mid gank. Sadly, in this case, when I'm going for the mid lane gank, well, the enemy had the same idea. They have more numbers, so I can't really help my teammate out, and I'm just getting out of here because I'm like, shit, dude, that's a lot of people. You don't want to fight that. I think the opportunity is good. You want to constantly look for opportunities, and sometimes they're going to fail like this, and that's okay. Now, I got level 6. My goal is to shove the lane in and try and play elsewhere. I don't really want to play top against Zac because he's stronger than me right now. Now, the idea is I have this many creeps, so even if he's stronger than me, I should still be able to beat him because I have a massive creep wave. So in those cases, it's still fine to fight because you have a massive advantage in the waves. However, if you're finding a fair and even fight, I would be losing this fight. I taunt him, I do my Q, I do a ton of damage to him. He levels up to 6, he's gonna fight back. And just look at this fight, how close it ends up being, even though I absolutely dumpstered him and got him extremely low before the fight even happened. Look at his health, he's almost dead. He was so low in health. And yet he still starts beating me up. And he does so much to me. The only reason I'm winning this is me burning my flash, burning my stuff, and him almost getting me. And he was half health when the fight started, or even less than half health. However, the only reason I do this is because I know I have my teleport ready. I can get back to the lane. He doesn't have TP. And now I burned his passive. So if I get a gank, he's actually killable now. So I took him into a position where he's a lot more afraid and scared. So I think this is okay. It wasn't amazing. It was just decent to do. However, the point to take is, be afraid of Zac after 6. He's extremely strong and you don't want to fight him. You want to get out of your laning phase if you can. Next up, we have Shen vs Poppy. In this matchup, we have similar runes as before. You're running Grasp, Shield Bash, Bone Plating, or Second Wind now because you're having a lot smaller fights. And then you have Overgrowth. And then the second one, you want to go Triumph and Coup de Grace, or you want to go Taste of Blood and Ravenous Hunter again. Pretty similar stuff. Now for items, you want to go Titanic Hydra into Tank, just as I say in the Shen guide. Let's look into it. So we have the gameplay going now. In this matchup, be starting bot side with jungle. You could opt in to start top side. Starting top side would also be very, very good. Because this matchup is very even. You don't really dominate Poppy at any times. So starting top side would be huge. Because then you can help Shaco a lot. Or whoever your jungler is. And they can pressure elsewhere. Which is more important. You're not looking to win the lane. You're looking to win the map. What I'm doing here is I'm pushing in Poppy. I'm going to try and hit her every time I got grass procs. She's going to do the same. And then I'm going to try and avoid her Q. If you take 1 damage from Q, that's fine. But you don't want to take double ticks. What you want to do is you want to push in and see if you can make pressure elsewhere. Now, as you can see in this matchup, I'm on the 4th wave right now. And I'm pushing in, slow pushing as I can. Once I hit the 4th wave, or the 1 wave I determined to push into a tower, I'm pushing as hard as I can. While still trying to get the CS. So I'm auto-attacking minions whenever I can. And then I'm just trying to get the CS, push as hard as I can, get it in as fast as possible. Because the faster I get this wave into her tower, the more time I have to do other things. I could move mid potentially. Actually quite low here, so that's a possibility. I could just sit in the bush and do nothing. I could go help my jungler on the crab or on the blue buff. Or I could TP bot lane. This ward's actually perfect. Because let's see what happens here. I'll showcase you something pretty cool. This top ward is about to time out. I should actually TP 1 second later. So there we go. I'm TPing on a ward that's timed out. These guys don't know this shit. And now I can go on them. Now I do mess this gang up because I should have torn it really fast. I actually thought we could do a lot more. This guy played really safe as well. We should have one-shotted this guy. But regardless, the point is when you're playing these kind of matchups where the game is even, you don't really get massive advantages in lane, you don't really have much kill pressure, just try and go elsewhere. You don't need to be beating Poppy. Now as you're facing Poppy, one really important thing to note is every single time you go on Poppy, she can stop your jump with her W ability. So you need to try and time your jumps or your taunt at times where she doesn't expect it necessarily. So you always want to be in her face, and then she's always expecting a taunt, which means it's a lot harder for her to react to it. If you're randomly just walking up to her and then starts taunting, it's really easy for her to react, right? But if you're always in her face, then it's much more difficult to taunt. You have to try and taunt at unexpected times. Now after level 6 in a matchup like this, your goal is always to try and shove as much as possible. Whoever pushes this lane will have the advantage on map pressure, because you both want to make plays on the map, and none of you guys want to stay in the top lane. So pushing is key to winning. And it's not about killing the opponent, because if you start focusing too hard on killing Poppy, you know what's going to happen? Every time the enemy jungler comes and ganks, you die. That's why a lot of people die, because they're focusing on killing instead of actually doing the proper thing. Nope, focus on pushing. Sure, you can hit her. She walks up, you Q, hit her, bam, done, nice. But you're not looking to kill her necessarily, you're just getting the map pressure and the wave pressure. And now, because I pushed her in, I have the opportunity to move back a little bit, and then look for elsewhere, see if I can make a play somewhere. Maybe bot lane, maybe mid lane, let's see what's going on. I see a play potentially bot lane, I'm going there. Trinmet is on, be hitting, and that's a kill. And this is how you have to use Shen to try and make plays on the map in matchups that are even. Some matchups you'll dominate and you just need to focus on the matchup. In a tank matchup against something like Poppy, you want to look at the map as much as possible, and whenever you can, you make a play. And then your team is going to carry you and win the game. Next up, we have Shen versus Ornn. Runes to run. Again, you're going to be running Grasp, Shield Bash, Bone Plating, Overgrowth, and then second one, you're going to have Triumph and Coup de Grace. Now, in this matchup against Ornn, you want to do the similar to the other ones. You want to beat him early, and then later on you will lose. However, Ornn is a much more difficult matchup, and there's some small technicalities you have to do. In this game right now I'm helping my jungler early, which is fine. I'm good at helping jungle. I prefer to start topside, but that's okay. I get topside same time as Ornn, so I want to look to the push. Now against Ornn, what you want to do is you really want to try and avoid this mountain. The mountain is scary. If you can avoid it, you can win the trade. So what you want to do is when you walk up to minions and you're expecting him to throw out the mountain. Now obviously you got on cooldown here, doesn't really matter, the point's still the same. You walk up to a minion, and then instead of clicking the minion and taking it, you just walk upwards or downwards, and then he throws the Q, and you try to avoid it by doing so. You don't need to get every single minion, you prioritize avoiding his Qs over getting the minions. Because it's just slightly better to do that. Now another thing to note is you want to play heavily around Grasp. Grasp is everything in this matchup. Whenever you have Grasp up and he doesn't, you want to hit him. Whenever he have Grasp up and you have Grasp up, you want to hit him, use your W so he can't hit you. So you can stack Grasp up while he can't. That is one massive advantage Shen have. And also your W is great against his Brittle Proc. You see here what his thing, so I'm going to start going aggressive now and I'm going to hit him. I got a free hit on him. Wasn't a massive damage because I'm on level 1, but it helps. And the matchup is essentially that way for a long time. As you can see here, he's throwing out his mountain. Then I'm walking up towards him because I have ability advantage. He used his W. Now he doesn't have any abilities and I'm much stronger than him, so I'm going to taunt in on him, be aggressive, get my empowered Qs, and then just chunk him down and do a ton of damage to him, and then walk out again. Because now he got ability advantage. I don't have my taunt. He's going to have his W. His W is stronger than my Q alone if I don't have taunt. So I don't need to fight him heavily right now. Still going to try and get some grass procs here and there. But yeah, this was a good trade. And this is how you win it slowly. Now your goal is to focus on the minions and actually try and get good pushes. Now one mistake I'm doing here is on the third wave. You always kind of want to get a ward down here. It's pretty good to do. There's a high chance you get ganked. I didn't do that, so that's a mistake. Here we go. I put it down. This is a little bit late. I should have had it earlier. At the end of the day, it works. Now, you're in this situation on the fourth wave again. What you really need to focus on here is you're not trying to kill Ornn. Trying to kill Ornn will put you in a risk where you can die, and that's a bad play. What you want to do is just hard shove this wave in as fast as possible. So you need to start hitting the minions. I'm doing this wrong right now. I'm actually trying to kill Ornn, I think, or do damage to him, which is a really bad play. I should be hard shoving this wave, hitting minions as hard as possible the second they came in, and that is how I stay safe while still applying pressure and being able to move on the map. As you can see here, I torn into him. There's a big mistake. I do win the trade. It was a great trade. But the problem is, while doing this, Echo could have came up behind me and potentially killed me. And also now, because I did this, I didn't actually get to push the wave fast enough. So I end up in a situation where my wave doesn't crash on his tower, and I'm stuck right in front of his tower in an awful position. This is the worst position you can ever be in. And you want to try and avoid this position, unless you have a dive comp where you're trying to dive on, which we don't have right now, but you'd need an Elise for that. And as we can see, due to my mistakes earlier on the wave manipulation, even though I'm strong and on, I had more health than him, I had more mana than him. He's almost out of mana actually. Echo just walks up behind me, kills me very easily, and I give away a kill to the team because I fucked up massively. Now here we have a situation where I'm finally level 6. I really need to look at the map, see what can I do. Zoe versus Syndra, somewhat gankable, not easy, but it's gankable. Bot lane we have a Pyke and an Astral. Extremely easy to gank with. This is a really good lane to gank. And Misfortune Fresh is somewhat easy to gank unless the Fresh is staying really far back. Which means ganking on the Fresh and jumping the Fresh is really, really good. And we need to look for plays down here right now. Because at this point, Ornn is going to beat me in the 1v1. I'm not looking to kill him anymore. All you need to look is to have good wave manipulation and then try and get out of your lane as fast as possible. What you also could do, due to the mid laner being an immobile mid laner, Syndra, who doesn't have jumps, you just walk mid and then you try and gank the mid laner. You can do that as well. And that's it for the Ornn matchup. Let's get into the next one. Shen versus Sion. This is actually a really good matchup for Shen, and Shen absolutely destroys Sion. So the runes you want to run in this matchup is Graft, Shield Bash, Bone Plating, Overgrowth, and now you want to go Triumph and Coup de Grace because you want to kill this guy. You have a lot of pressure, you can do it. So you need that Coup de Grace because it gives you an advantage in damage. So here we see Shen cheesing the Sion level 1 because he expected Sion to help the enemy. He's a lot stronger than Sion, so he can actually cheese here. This is very powerful. He uses a Q through the Sion. He does a ton of damage to Sion with Empower Q, and then he just walks out afterwards, and he got a massive trade. That's a 200 health advantage. Doing this gives you a big trade. Now, the second thing you want to do is you want to slow push this wave. If you can slow push right now, you hardcore win. So the only thing you want to do is you want to be careful of the Sion. His Q is huge. Be careful of that. Don't take too much damage of it. Slow push the wave in if you can. This is the best thing to do, because by slow pushing, you always level first, and you don't push too hard into his tower, so he's not in a safe position. Let's see what happens. He's killing the minions a little bit. He's hitting him, getting his grasp up. He should be pushing a little bit harder here. I think that's a mistake, actually. But I just took a random I think this guy's master. I took a random master Shen player. And this is something really important to note. The second Sion uses his Q, you can always taunt him. So Sion can never really get a really big Q off, because you can taunt every time. So just save your taunt for the Qs unless you can kill him. And beside that, you just chunk him down all the time. He could actually keep chunking because the shield is almost dead there. No big deal. You win the early game really hard, and that's all you got to look to do. As you can see here, Shen isn't really slow pushing as I think he should be. So he's actually making a mistake. What you should be trying to do is have the slow push. Like, you want your wave to be Sion's wave right here, because you're stronger. You've been stronger the whole time. So if you had Sion's wave here where it's slow pushing to him, but it's not really super hard or anything, then you have full control over the wave at all times. And the gank is going to be even stronger because you're going to get level 3 first, and you can push harder after the gank. Now, as you can see here, he taunted instantly when the gank is coming. I don't like this. I think he should save the taunt till Lee Sin is closer. There's no reason to go that early, because now this guy could actually just run, and he would have been fine. He didn't run, and Lee Sin might still get him, but now Shen is completely useless in this gank. And he could have been so much more useful. They still get a kill. Beautiful. Try to organize it with your junglers and CC when they're coming, instead of trying to do it early and playing alone. Because you always want to play as a team. That gives you the most opportunities to make the best plays. So your trading pattern is basically just you walk up to Sion, you start hitting him. If he uses Q, you taunt. And then when you're taunting him, you will always end up with a better trade. Shen might not end up with a massively better trade right now because he's down in items, because he didn't base yet and Sion did. But that's still good, because by going somewhat even trade while you haven't based yet and you still have TP, that means the enemy is losing health and resources in mana, while you're gonna just TP back and be full. As long as you don't die doing this, this is fantastic for you. One thing to note though is you want to try and use your W to stop his grass procs. If you can stop his grass procs while you get your own grass procs, that's how you absolutely dominate the trades. So right now, as you can see, greeting for a cannon minion takes a big hit. This is okay because of cannon minion, but had it been any other minion, you don't ever want to make that trade. Now, one thing to note here that I really want to point out. It is so important that you get your bases off, then you have that advantage. Because right now, Shen have a massive advantage. He's so much stronger if you just base. He can absolutely dominate Sion. Sion can't do anything. You just get back, base while you can for free. Sion, if he pushes, well, it's going to freeze. He won't be able to push in time. If he doesn't push, well, then he's going to be low on health, half health, and you're going to be full health. You're going to have more items. You're going to be a lot stronger than him, right? For example, here, you're going to have a 500 gold advantage in your items, which means you're going to be absolutely dominating him. From that actually even higher player, like this guy's a master player, right? He makes this problem over greeting, just staying around, and nothing's happening. Look at this, absolutely nothing's happening. Try to do your wave manipulation in your bases probably, because right now what happened, Sion got a free base. This is terrible. You don't want to give your enemies a free base ever. And it also removes your opportunity to dominate your opponent in a winning matchup, which this is. You want to win this matchup really hard. And now you can't really do that. You already won, sure, but you could have won harder. Now we're at the point where you're after level 6. What you actually want to do is you want to still just stay in lane and just chunk the Sion out as much as possible. You don't want to focus too much on jumping around, because he can also gank really easily. What you want to do is try and focus on pushing in the waves, because you're stronger than him. And then you want to try and roam down. Especially if it's an immobile mid lane like this guy. Rapunzel is a Veigar, very immobile. Try and keep your flash up. Go mid, gank mid, flash onto him, get a kill. That is the best ganks you can do. Teleporting obviously still works. You could teleport bot here. It's good. But the priority should be to roam if you can in a matchup like this. And if you can't roam, well, TP is also an option. Obviously, it's still good to do. And as we see, the Shen actually does exactly what I suggested. I hadn't even watched this before suggesting that, but that's just the best play to do. And he does exactly that without me knowing prior. And it's beautiful. He just walks in. He's going to taunt here. That's a flash burn. That's good. Just doing that alone creates so much help for your team. And now maybe he dies on the next jungler gang, or maybe he have less pressure now and your blind man can push and gank other lanes. There's a lot of opportunities. Mid lane pressure is more important than top lane pressure. So getting your mid lane ahead is huge, even if you give up something for top lane.